I'm Mike April, and this is April Tax Tips. So after operating your company for 2 years, you get surprised. I'm not talking about one of those good surprises, but just one of those that just comes out of nowhere and hits you on the side of the head like, oh. So you set up your corporation, you get a notice from the government, your company has been struck. Struck? Well, what happened? You've paid your taxes, you paid your GST, all your employees have been paid, your payroll source deductions have been paid. Even your taxes were filed and assessed with no hiccups. Guess what? Chances are you haven't filed your annual return. Well, this is a sore point for many. In fact, it happens quite often. It's all about the lingo. An annual return is different than a tax return, right? So when someone says, well, you never filed your annual return, people go, well, I filed my taxes. Don't they just share that and keep everything going? Well, annual return is actually your registration. So when you set up your corporation, you actually went to either your provincial registry or your federal registry, or wherever, or perhaps it's a state where you registered an LLC. So you have a registration, and just think of your annual return being like a registration for your car. Every year you have to go in and re-register your car and let them know that it's still on the road. Same thing with your corporation. The annual return lets the government know that your corporation is still operating. If it's a time when you can change your address with them. If you've changed your address of mailing or your operating headquarters, if you've changed directors of the company, maybe you brought in someone new to be, a secretary treasurer, or maybe an administrator or a vice president of operations. That's where you would record that. And also if you've added or removed any of the shareholders of the company. So it kind of brings that all up to date. And that's what your annual return does. It kind of brings that all into perspective and makes all of that information correct for another year. Usually you have 2 years, I know for the provinces, before it gets struck. And if that happens, then you have to pay a revival fee, and then you also have to pay the annual return fee for each year that happened in the past. So my word of advice is put a note in your calendar to re-register your corporation every year. It usually falls on the anniversary of your incorporation date. So for example, if you incorporated June 20th of last year, then you should have got a notice on June 20th of this year that your annual return notification is due to be updated. Anyhow, that's it for this episode.